surprising. It's difficult to logically explain this, because when you use the descriptor field, the precision should be higher than when you use when you search in all the fields. That's one thing. Can you just explain? The second one is you did use papers that were published in a journal, right? So to a certain extent, at least, the papers have a defined structure. Okay. Have you tried, do you think that you would get similar results if the methodology is applied to something that is completely even less structured,
Structureless.
unstructured?
Well, CISA uses the structure, so maybe I'll ask Isidoro about your second question. But for the first question, it's not surprising because sometimes the terms that were used for searching in the descriptors field were not found anywhere in the descriptors. So neither the precision nor the recall were high. They don't match. All the terms that were used for the example searches were chosen by the specialists, but sometimes the authors they choose keywords for things that they imagine to have written, not what they really have written. So sometimes we find some fantastic proposals on keywords, but you are about to read the documents, and the subject that you expect to find in the document is not there. You maximize the impact of your work, carefully choosing some keywords that sometimes are not the best ones to describe what you really did. Okay, but Isidoro, Hagavan le pregunta si tuviese un corpus con documentos sin estructura, ¿cómo te imaginaría que el software sería en la performance?
Hello. Sorry, my English is very, very bad. I can answer Renato to speak for me. Thank you.
Okay. If you don't have this structure, you have to rely on TF-IDF. And of course, as we observed that the difference in the performance was big, I believe that was because it's using two things that we are not: the controlled vocabularies and also the structure of the document. So without structure, you have a worse performance. The position of the words, the frequency of the words, and TF-IDF. And you can choose the weights for combining the three of the criteria.
Yeah, it's a very interesting experimental study. I just have a question about the stop word list. You mentioned 586 words in the stop word list. That seems unusually large. From a linguistic point of view, a language has about 100 stop words. So is that the reason that the CISA system did so well? It may be worth running the experiment, reducing the size of the stop. If the experts in that domain have removed all the problematic words, then you would get very high precision and recall.
You think that 9,000 descriptors for the agriculture domain is a huge?
No, not that. The 586 stop words. Linguistically, my feeling is there won't be that many. So some domain words might be removed in the stop word list.
I don't think that's strange for Portuguese, because sometimes you can consider things like smileys and expressions and hashtags and all other things that are empty in meaning as stop words. So I guess the number is correct.
Last question for this presentation.
Okay. When you were describing the prior research, you mentioned a lot of methods and tools that were developed primarily for English language texts. And you were dealing now with Portuguese text. I wondered how much things have to be different for the Portuguese language and how much you were able to, utilize the results and tools already done for the English language.
Puedes usar CISA para otras lenguajes que español y portugués. Sí, CISA can be used for Spanish, English, and Portuguese. We can use pipeline for English, Portuguese, and Spanish, but we have a very good part of speech target for Portuguese that is based on rules. So we have 98% of identification of noun phrases. And for the English processing, we have to rely on frequency it's not a rule parser. It's a machine learning trained parser. So you have to have a huge corpus of documents to try to identify the correct part of speech of the words. So I imagine we didn't do the experiment. I imagine the performance would not be so good. Just because our strength, our biggest strength is to rely on the identification of these very semantically rich structure that is the noun phrases for the Portuguese. Okay.
Sorry, because of the time, we just need to move. But I hope we have more time, probably at the end. So, yes, now the next presentation is nano publication and indexing, semantic and pragmatic interchanges in methodology applications.
Good afternoon. This research is from a group of research in the UFMG, Minas Gerais, from Minas Gerais. Is we are interested in the experimental research in the digital environment. In this research, we try find an integrate solution to the discursive indexing context. We are very strong interest in the context, about the context. About find information in the find information, relevant information in context. This research was an interdisciplinary study too. We try to prepare and organize research with different reference from, for example, from linguistic, from semiotics, from another fields. And then in this research, we combine information science and linguistic and knowledge. In this, another problem that organize our mind is in the context of big data and the Internet of the Things, we need to find solution to the knowledge organization more responsive and integrated too. We try to in this paper, we try in this research in this paper, we try to highlight the and preserve the author voice in the final indexing to the attribution. We choose a controversial and polysemic concept to experimentate our ideas. The concept is innovation, because it's a concept very, very controversial. And then in different fields, this concept is considered in different ways. And then we choose you choose different articles from social science applied, like communication, administration, information science, to experiment the concept and experiment to the nano publication, because for us nano publication is a strong, in our feeling, nano publication is a strong way to experiment information science or knowledge organization. We work with a concept by Muriel Amar. She proposed the concept discursive indexing. For us is very interesting. Experimentated this in our reflections, and then according Muriel Amar, index may be considered a discursive action on the documents and their context. Muriel Amar presents too that indexing is an interpretational discourse, and then we try organize this with the concept about innovation. Is necessary present to the concept about nano publication. Nano publication is a concept is still little disseminated in the knowledge organization, but we try experiment make some experience with this concept. Then the nano publication is the smaller unit of information published in the formal documents. Nano publication is the textual extraction attributed to the author voice. According CWA, nano publication may be cited because they are an exact reference of the ideas contained in the in formal publication. For this, we organized our experimentation with knowledge organization, nano publication, discursive indexing, indexing in the structure about the indexation, like subject analysis and and after traduction. Our experimentation is have a informational dimension, a computational dimension, and interface. In the phase 1, we select the corpus. Phase 2, conceptual extraction. Phase 3, modeling of nanopublication. Phase 4, web semantic application. And phase 5, information flow. In the information dimension, phase 1, we choose several articles by the domain like administration, information science, communication, and extract the title journal, and so on. And the information dimension, we organize information in the title of articles, fields, sociology, for example. I forgot, and we use in this phase subject analysis to the articles, and then we organize a map and present this different words or different concepts linked to innovation, for example. After we use a software, called Tropes, and we organize subject semantic and pragmatic elements, subject, predicate, object, e lá in the enunciation, on dirait, je mélange les mots. We organize a network with the words extracted by the tropes. After this, we can organize a concept like a collective speech or collective discourse about innovation. In this sense, is a concept organized by the words cut in the phase 1, phase 2 and 3, and then we find innovation as application, as a generator, as a understood, and we can organize a concept link the different fields of social science, and then innovation was collective in speech, in collective speech. A inovação em ciências sociais é concebida como uma mudança interativa que pode ser considerada lei em alguns países. Ela pode gerar, através de pesquisa, o desenvolvimento de tecnologias e produtos para empresas, indústrias, mercado e Estado, tudo isso em função do desenvolvimento sociais. It's not a concept by only one only actor, but collectively prepare. After we organize, we try find links between knowledge between subject analysis and between in relationship dimensional computational dimension. And in this phase, you use the scenario software tropes. In the software tropes, we can facilitate the work because we put the whole text before we prepare a stop word, and we can put this whole text in the program. And after we can organize a network by the words or by the concepts. Is very. This is the whole process. We informational dimension, computational dimension, interface, and dimension. The different steps to prepare the research. And now we have the conviction the nano documents is very, very strong to us, to the KIO, because we can work with semantic and pragmatic elements. And then we will try prepare this experiment in another fields, in another subjects too. For us, the discursive indexing is very, very strong to organize. We think that we can prepare the nano documents. I think, my God, que eu fiz? Não. Oh my God. Okay. But I can't. Oops. Sorry. So sorry. And then we think that's because we have a dynamic context, we need prepare different ways to the user deals with the information. Then we think that's if the user can use document choice or in the discursive order, or in this or as subject ways to found the information. We think too that nano publication will the future for the found information contest. And then we think that we can organized and made other experiment to put the information science and techniques and interdisciplinary fields and the technology to organize the way the way to find information in the future. Is that? Thank you.
Thank you. Question 1. Okay. Thank you.
This is a short one. In information retrieval, there is something called passage retrieval. And what's the difference between passage retrieval and nano documents?
Yes, the difference, the only difference is the dynamic context and the dynamic context, and then we need the exact information, exact conception, and then we need try other ways to do. And I don't know if I understand your question, but in our opinion, we need experiment other ways to organize the nano publication, nano documents. Nano publication needs present the information that the user needs in the context to organize your life, to organize your research or your his research or his studies. Nano document is another document, a little document, but with a point that point to the author voice and the concept organized by the field. Is an accord by the field, and then we can organize the information through the nanopub, organize the how can I say concordance by in the field. Agreement in the field, and then is more quickly if you study a subject is more quickly to find the agreement about one subject.
Thank you. I propose we pass to the other presentation. That will be presented by Maria Angela on the perspective of social indexing in online bibliographic catalog between the individual and the collaborative. Thank you. Hold on, she's coming.
Sorry. No.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Mariangela Fujita. I am a professor of UNESP, and I apologize for not speaking well in English. I'm sorry. But now I will be presenting the perspective of social indexing in online bibliographic catalogs between the individual and the collaborative. The connections with computational approaches are driven because of the social aspects of knowledge organization process, as the way knowledge is acquired, represented, managed, and exploited has changed with the connected world and new features associated. In the context of Web 2.0, emerges the social indexing or folksonomy as a new way to organize and share content on the internet. In this sense, the issues around knowledge in the digital world, such as the advent of folksonomies, need further investigation in the field. It started from the premise that the purpose of the online bibliographic catalogs is represented by subject and give access to the intellectual content of the documents. This paper aims to make theoretical reflections on the social approach of indexing or folksonomy as collaborative construction proposal in online bibliographic catalogs in the context of university libraries. The traditional indexing approach, librarians, the activity that most adds value to the online bibliographic catalog are the subject of accessing points of informational items defined by subject analysis, traditionally performed by professional indexers called indexing. Conceptually, indexing is a process consisting of a sub-process or steps: document reading, subject analysis or concept identification, selection of concepts, translating of concepts. The indexing complexity lies in the subject analysis of a document held during document reading, early stage that triggers all other operations. The aim of the indexer is to achieve thematic representation according to the content of the documents, the author's term, and information needs of the user's online bibliographic catalog. Historically, librarians have created order in the knowledge of the universe based on the analysis and the understanding of the objects in the universe of knowledge and its use. On the other hand, folksonomies arise without the interpretive involvement of professionals, where the order of the objects is carried out collaboratively in a social constructivist approach to represent and organize information. In a democratic prospect of indexation, the phenomenon of collaborative or social tagging is essentially indexing by non-professionals without the benefit of a controlled vocabulary. Arising in a pragmatic approach free of a theoretic foundation and create a new order in the landscape of knowledge organization, with the product of free indexing performed by the users, develop in a social and democratic environment, enabling their sharing for the recovery of information. Applicability of folksonomies in online bibliographic catalogs. Main advantages: cost, time and investment reduction, rapid adaptation to language users, freedom of speech expression, collaboration, possibility of interaction between users, easy retrieval, and low cost. Main challenges related to the meaning and language as the lack of vocabulary control, resulting in low accuracy rate and high level of recall, and polysemy, synonymy, and ambiguity. However, this disorder is also the strength of folksongs, especially considering that disorder can be controlled and represent the plurality of views. It is believed also that this theoretical and technological approach can help improve semantic tools, classification, navigation taxonomies, and methodologies for the construction of an indexing language in collaborative virtual environments. Final considerations. The theoretical and the practical challenges lie in the convergence of both approaches. In order to improve the representation and the information retrieval by subject in online bibliographic catalogs of university libraries. In practical perspective, the application of the principles folksonomy in university libraries can bring benefits to the online bibliographic catalogs, improve thematic representation by allowing the users to organize information according to their perceptions. In theoretical perspective, the traditional indexing approach and the social indexing approach feature, when used together, new investigation glances for thematic representation in the field of knowledge organization, contributing to its establishment as a scientific field nowadays. Considering that the indexing cannot be investigated separately from the social context and the area where it is held, the applicability of their social index approach in online bibliographic catalogs is even more complex than the traditional indexing approach, performed only by professional indexers due to the linguistic, cultural, and contextual variability where the collaborative users in this discursive community are inserted. Future research possibilities. It points to the need for investigations into the technological aspects for the implementation of social index approach in online bibliographic catalogs, comparative analysis of the measures assigned by users with the controlled vocabulary of the information retrieval system. Further research around the subject of analysis in this collaborative environment, as it is the first step in the indexing process and more complex. Thank you very much.
Questions to the floor? Yes.
Thank you for your presentation. I'm interested in the notion of social indexing as it applies to specific communities, because very often social indexing needs a large number of people doing it in order to get consensus on what the preferred term might be. But the more people you have, aren't you, isn't it difficult to get a large number of people in a minority? Do you know what I mean? It's like if you've got a small group of, if you've got a smaller group that is distinct, social indexing must be different from the kind of social indexing where you just get billions and billions of people to do it, and eventually one term floats to the top, and that's, and that's how it's done. Is there something about distinct communities that makes it harder for social indexing to work?
Now, my colleague Dulce Neves will help me to answer the questions. Pode responder para mim.
Thanks. The social indexing is, as you say, a lot of people indexing at the same time and several names. But she said that at this research, they identify the user of the library is in a library, academic library, and they identify themselves when they do a focus on them. The indexing.
We want to former community users of university libraries and identifying the users of libraries, university libraries. Thank you very much.
I probably have one question. Now, the indexers are not necessarily specialists in documentary science. How do you differentiate this approach from shared annotation? What is the consequence? For instance, how do you differentiate this approach? Because the indexers are not specialists. I get it? So how do you differentiate it from annotation? And what are the consequences? Shared annotation, for instance.
The online catalogs of the university libraries have a huge control vocabulary nowadays. But this vocabulary is inflexible, como se diz, inflexível in these categories, and it is categories and subjects. I think that the vocabulary control in university libraries must deve ser mais popular. In a democratic way, observed the language of users.
Thank you.
I have a comment. Just two very brief comments.
Okay.
One, social indexing is a form of shared annotation. And second, the point of social indexing is not to achieve consensus. The point is to have many different perspectives represented on the same object. Could be the same document, could be the same image. So you get many different interpretations and therefore many different ways to access the object. And the things people agree on are usually trivial.
Thank you for that remark. I suggest we move to the
Thank you.
next presentation. The next presentation is by Marsilio De Brito, who will be presenting a paper on indexing with images, the imagetic conceptual methodology. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. So, thank you. What we are doing here today is I need to prepare you for what we are going to see or to listen. And the first thing is our work is intended to be more humble than the others, because we are trying to do something different, to have first a strong theoretical proposal and highly intuitive, because of indexing need a different way of looking at the things and documents and subjects and contents, etc. So, what happened? I did, on the right.
Hold on there, we put it on there.
Yes, yes. So first of all, a little word. That's because our group was always conducted by someone very important to us, and Monsieur Le Guen, who was the mentor of our way of thinking and differently for indexing, and he passed away in a few months ago. So we decided to put this little word for a tribute to him. And so, our subject. All we need is communicate or to communicate. And communicate knowledge. How to do this? We live in an imagined world, and new generations will be image-based, we believe. So, because this is more intuitive, and when we look at our children or young people, they are always pointing something, and all course, or chaos, or system, or knowledge organization application, the more they are intuitive, the more they are popular, or people agreed or come to or be attracted to. I don't know what's happening. Okay, so who is apart from our knowledge organization system, and why they are a part of it? This is for us to think that we need a new proposal or an idea or a theory or a system. That's why we are looking and working on it to build this application or this sort of program to access information based on a new way of indexing documents and information. So my speech today is structured by those 3 points. First of all, I will present to you the principles of indexing with images, which is the base of our, the last one, IOPAC, which is an imaged OPAC, but based on the principle of indexing with images. And the second point is a logic data model based on the relationship FSAD or FRSAD model. To know this and to experience a little bit of this, what is working with images, I invite you to have a look at this. So, for you who are English-speaking persons, you recognize these lyrics, don't you? So now, this for my friends and Brazilian friends, Portuguese speaking people, you recognize these lyrics as well. So now I ask you, thinking about words, messages, and reference, what are those lyrics talking about? Am I talking about the same growth in each one of these messages? Certainly not. The Brazilian who reads the text in Portuguese, they know the grow thought, or which are making reference in the English version, is not the same. They have not, or she has not, this balance and the way of Brazilian talking and referencing for a build from tent and grow from Ipanema. Are the references the same in each one? No. No. They look like the same, but they are not the same. What if you had literacy or cultural barriers? It would be better? No, certainly not. You have more difficulties to identify reference in this text. What would happen to the message and to the reference? They will be absent from these texts. And what we are looking for? We are looking for how to bring back the reference from the messages. From linguistics, we know that natural language, the words from the natural language or from the dictionary, refer to the signifiers, not to the reference. The lexicon or the list we use to index documents, they are not related or referred to, don't refer to reference. They refer to an open set of objects with common characteristics. But the words in terminology, because they have concepts, they refer to the words in the discourse, and the references are there. These are the differences. Words have predicates. Words have concepts and have to relate or to refer to the reference. This is what we are looking for when you hear this. So an image is the experience we are having or looking for. An image put your text in English and text in Portuguese with an image, and this song is just to have sounds that haven't yet recognized the girl from Ipanema. And what we do, so we take, if we are talking about the girl from Ipanema, and we put together these personages, the authors, we have more reference. If we put this image of something like a score, music score, we have more reference. If we put a symbolic image from a grove in Ipanema and with a Brazilian symbol, we have more and more and more, since we have a location reference. So this is the whole idea, and only this. Building an image that could be used additionally as a keyword, or what we call a key image. So how to index with images is to compose, to create this chart, this sort of composition of images, and put to index a document. Like this if I change my referent, if now I'm looking for a document, I put the document, look at that, we have already the same images, but the message is different. If I have this, and I'm looking for a document, a music, and I see for those signs and indexes here, I will be certainly more keen to say, this is the document I'm looking for. So, I said strongly theoretical proposal, methodology, and we came to find that the theory of sign was the basis, the first, and the thing we have to look for to construct, to build our methodology. And we went and we looked at what Saussure and Peirce said about the sign. And all you know what they said, and in a brief, in a shell, Peirce said that the fulfillment of a sign message is an icon, an index, and a symbol all put together in equilibrium. When we have this, we have the perfect message, the most perfect imaged and icon message. How to build an image like that one we saw? The procedure was looked at Bertin's contribution. Jacques Bertin is a French who worked, and he discovered that the way to compose an image is the way of looking at the language and the grammar. If you follow linguistic principles, you build an image with the perfect message, or the message you want to pass through or to communicate. And now, looking at that image, what we called the chart or key image, you can see that the elements from Peirce's theory are here. So I have a score, which is an icon in Peirce's theory. I have Tom Jobin's icon, Vinicius' icon. I have a tall and tan and young and lovely girl, which is an index. A Brazilian girl from Ipanema, which is an index and also a symbol. And Ipanema geolocation, which is also an index. When I put all together, I create a symbol. This is a symbolic image in Peirce's discourse or theory. So when he said the equilibrium is to create a symbolic image, and a symbol is the perfect way to communicate, to say. This is all. All we have to say about indexing with images is to create charts and what we call key images to put and to refer to documents. But where to put this? So the concept is that one, just taking an image and using it as a sign. The conceptual model, so for imagetic is the word we are using to say this is imagetic, and a new word used in Portuguese frequently, but we think it's the reflex, the more close to what we are looking for or to want to say. So images related to contents and the perspective of a sign used both words and images to make correlations between documents and systems where we are looking for documents or for contents or for information, simply. This is the imagetical way to say the same thing. Keywords refer to objects, the books that are up. It's no more working. Yeah, the books here, the objects. Keywords refer to it. But a sign also refers to objects, but with the advantage of 100 milliseconds fast. What is so the interest of using images? That we go faster. Faster and better. And intuitively. So indexing with images anticipates a moment of reading and another of creation. I read, I understand the content, and I have to create a key image to say this document is related to this new image, what we call also a collage. Oops, once again. This is, we have done some tests, and this is a sort of key image we've built to say that what if we had hard content to index like this, such as a grammar or a linguistic book. So what we've done is to take the first and principal image from the document to say this is the more important icon I have, the book, the document itself, and put together the reference. We are looking for to say the content of this document talks about. Is it intuitive? Yes, it is. Is it easy to do? No, not too easy, but easier than knowing lots of languages and synonyms and translations. Easier than that, because image is intuitive. And this is a simulation. What would have happened if we had the Library of Congress reference with a key image inside? So the book is up there. The book is here. And we imagine that our key image would have place in this. And the arrows we see is just to relate to you with the real indexers, keywords from Library of Congress, to what we've done with our image. So this is the principle. Indexing with image is not a simple selection of juxtaposed images. It's a collage of significant images intentionally composed to become the representative key image of a document. Can I have more than one? Yes, of course you can. And I talked that where to put this, where is the data model? Modeling data to receive this key image. So we thought that the FRSAD model, relationship model, could receive easily this key image at the nomen entity related here, where we can see the thesaurus and also the image. This is theoretically possible and feasible. And if you have questions about this, we will show you how to do this, because this paper is more focused on the image and the concept of indexing with images. But this is the way, the model, the entity relationship model, how we could do this to build and to program an application, a course, or a database system with nomens based on FRSAD model. So the imagetic model is a user-focused mechanism compatible with FRSAD model. The course described here is based on a relational model using images as nomens. The IOPAC, which is the imagetic OPAC, is an imagetic model based on a semiotic approach. And designing OPACs using an imagetic indexing initiative will involve not only IT solutions, but also giving answers to epistemological questions inherent to the nature of images. Empowering people with this is to build a IOPAC with the idea of a universal course, because it's intuitive and I do not need to translate images. There are cultural issues, of course there are, but they are more and less important than language, than words, than keywords. Okay. So, IOPAC, social and cultural interoperability, because of this easy way to pass from a context to another with images, and intuitive, and also a solution for functional illiteracy. And why functional illiteracy? Because these are our collaborators. They are all deaf people. And deaf people do not think like us. They do not organize information or things or documents, or they do not understand our way of classifying things. And we are trying to adjust our model, theoretical model, with them, putting them in situations to understand, like a social experiment, to understand how they behave in front of those examples of key image. And that is our reference. And thank you for listening us.
Thank you. Questions? 1, 2. Okay, we take the 2 questions.
Thank you. That was an excellent paper and really very interesting. One of the points of indexing is to enhance retrieval so that people can locate documents. How do you use images in order to retrieve a document or referent that you've used the images for?
Okay, so the way is the OPAC, imaged OPAC. So I put to them the images related to the corpus I have. And they choose. We have 2 ways of doing this experiment. Is to use classes from the classification system of a library. And the idea also is to do not change the actual systems. So we put also with keywords, if they can read or not, we put the images. And they go navigating beyond the images and choosing, this is the subject. And we show an example of images related to that one. And they go further and further, arriving to the document. So the last step, the more down and deep step, is to have these key images with the image, the icon from the document. And they can relate, this document talks about what is around. And this is what I want. So a set of documents or just a document?
And is there a natural arrangement for those images so that somebody can navigate through what may be a very large number of images if you're indexing a large collection.
No, that's not. We thought in the first time this could be a large amount of images. But when you see that a corpus or how to say this in English? The books you have in the library, okay? Collection. Also, when you see a collection, it's infinitively less than what Google Images has. So to work and to find images inside this collection is very easy in terms of computers or computational arguments. Maybe not in your experience, but we've done some things. It's very easy to find an image inside a small set of images, like a collection from a library, is less easy than to do this in Google Images, for example. And the systems to find images are largely different from one to another. I'm not looking at patterns of images, like colors or distribution of elements. No, that's not. I'm looking for a system based on a relational model that put keywords and images and books related to. So it goes more intuitively.
Next question,
See,
Peter.
I do not agree. The meaning, the understanding, the usage of an image is not the same like the usage of a word. When you are socialized, you have to adapt what the meaning of words is, and that is a very long process, but you have a precise word. But an image can be very different. There can be so much in an image. This girl of Ipanema, first I was thinking, what are you speaking about, or what should the meaning be? It's, do you want to show the fashion, the garment, or what? Or the mood of the evening, the sun, not sunrise, but the dawn. Or if I imagine my mother, when she would see YouTube icon, she would not know what to do with. If I'm explaining, whenever you are seeing a symbol like this or a sign like this, then you have to push and it will show you the film. After a while she will understand, but it takes a long time. If you have the word hammer, you know what a hammer is. A hammer as a word is more or less a tool. But if you are seeing a picture of a hammer, it's not clear that it is a tool. You can have, oh, they are demonstrating there's a combination of iron and wood or something like that. Or if you even, but the intercultural question is another one. If you are going in another culture, there might be something like a hammer. You can use it like a hammer and you can describe that as a hammer, but you cannot realize it by an image. And then the surrounding, what is the color and whatever, might confuse you very much.
I understand you. And I agree with you in part. Why? Not entirely. Just because, remember, this girl, in a few minutes, when the Olympic Games was opening, she appeared. In a few minutes, millions of people were linked with that image and the referent of her. Try to do this with a word. This is the potential of image. It's not a perfect indexer, but the potential. try to do this with a lot of theory of indexing, even if they are all people from library and using indexers, they will always have more difference in interpreting words than interpreting images. So, if you put also with this girl, it could be any girl, but she was at the opening ceremony from the Olympic Games. Some reference all around. The reference comes so intuitively, and this is the powerful thing of indexing or creating these key images. We are not saying to replace one for the other, neither to this is the solution. We are saying that this is very powerful, even for people that cannot read. That's why we are tasting with deaf people. They cannot read. They don't know how to read. They don't understand our world because they cannot read. But they can find books in a library with images. That's fantastic.
Thank you. Because of I'm the time watcher. Sorry, so we. So the discussion, the interaction can continue later.
We can discuss about the hammer after.
Sorry for that, I'm the timekeeper. The last question, please.
Yeah, a couple questions. One, is there a controlled vocabulary for these images? Like if you have the image of a girl, is that the same girl in all books that contain girl?
Yes.
Or if you have different girls for different books?
Yeah, that's a good question. We thought about that. And to have a set of images made of especially for indexing could be better. Homogeneous images could be better. But we are not yet at that moment to make tests to say. We think you are right, and we think as you think. Having a set of images well chosen and well selected could be better.
Cool. And the other one is, have you tested with specific groups of documents, like in a specific library, or do you think this is going to work, for example, in scientific documents?
Okay.
And the other question.
This book of linguistic is very theoretical. We've done an essay to say and to test how it could be. So it's very nice to recognize that the icons or the indexes we use all around can give you a very good idea what it's talking about.
Great. And just the last one. You tried with deaf people. Have you ever thought of considering autistic people or non-verbal?
That started with an autism situation, yes. Because they have needs, different needs, to attract people, to attract autism individuals. But we go to deaf people because it's easier for the moment. But it started with a case of autism.
Thank you. 1 minute of summary synthesis of the session. I think you will agree with me that this session is very rich, intellectually, conceptually, theoretically, technologically. We've seen a variety of aspects of indexing, from the classic container content, the approach of indexing from the classical one to collaborative, and then the nature of content that we are trying to index, some aspects of semantic, linguistic aspects, from text to voice, to image, this last aspect. lot of technology involved. In fact, I wonder whether some of you are computer scientists or information scientists. So I think you will agree that to obtain this result, a lot would have been input. Some concepts you use are really encouraging, and I think you will agree with me if we give them a round of applause for the content, the quality of work they have presented. Thank you. I'm asked to pass some information to you. I'm not chairing the program, but I was asked to make some announcements. I'm asked to inform you that the cocktail is at 6:30, 18:30 after the sessions. That tomorrow, it's not going to be here, but in another place, I think in the center of the town. And you are advised to take cabs. I learned that the metro will be difficult to take tomorrow, so you said that you will avoid it if possible, so you take cabs to the venue of the conference tomorrow. So I hope yes, I will give the certificates to the presenters later. So she's asking me, don't forget our certificate. So thank you once again. So we meet and interact. Lots of questions. I'm sorry, the timekeeper is very difficult task to perform. Thank you. See you.